guys, welcome to my kitchen and welcome to my home. Today we're making the Leches Cake, which is a cake soaked with a mixture of milk, and it's so good I can't even describe it. I've read that this is a Mexican cake originally, but here in the Middle East we call it the Turkish cake. So I'm not sure who got inspired by who, whether it's Turkish or Mexican, it doesn't really matter. It is so delicious, so sweet. It's soaking with like sweet milk, but it's so good. You really have to try it. Okay, so let's get started. To make the cake you need some flour, some sugar, eggs, milk, some baking powder, some salt, and some vanilla extract. And for the milk mixture you need some sweetened condensed milk, some evaporated milk, and some regular whole milk. You can also substitute the whole milk with heavy cream, but I find it too heavy and too dense, so I prefer it this way. But if you like it heavier and thicker, then you can definitely substitute the milk with heavy cream. First thing you need to do is you need to preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And then you're going to separate the eggs. I'm going to add the baking powder and the salt to the flour. Whisk them and set them aside. Using my standing mixer with a whisk attachment, I'm going to add the egg yolks, or you can use a hand mixer too. Then I'm going to add the sugar and beat on high until it becomes pale. When it's pale and fluffy, add the vanilla and the milk and mix for another minute or so. To add my flour mixture, and I'm going to fold it into the batter. I don't want to over mix it. Basically, you want to mix it until the flour disappears. That's it. Now in a separate bowl, I'm going to beat the egg whites until I get stiff peaks. I'll show you. Okay, these are soft peaks, so not yet. I need to keep beating. Alright, so this is what stiff peaks look like. They don't fall back into the plate, and they stay in place basically. The beautiful meringue that I made. So I'm just gonna fold them into each other very gently. You probably noticed that this cake doesn't have any oil or butter, and that's because I want this cake to be very spongy and dry. It will absorb the liquid much better. So once the eggs are fully incorporated into the batter, like this, it becomes homogeneous in one color, I'm going to pour it immediately into my pan. And now I will pour my batter into a greased cake pan. I'm using a cake pan, but you can definitely use a glass baking dish too. Just to remove any air bubbles. And now I'm going to pop this in the oven and bake it until a toothpick comes out dry. The cake is perfect. and as you can see, it started to pull away from the edges, and it's just perfect. And when I insert a toothpick in the center, it comes out clean. I'm going to let it cool completely before I pour the milk mixture. And while my cake is cooling, I'm going to make my milk mixture. So, into a measuring cup, I'm going to pour the sweetened condensed milk, the evaporated milk, and finally I'm going to add my whole milk, which, as I said, can be replaced by heavy cream. And just mix them really well. So now that my cake is cooled completely, I'm going to poke some holes in it. That way we make sure that the milk is absorbed evenly all over. Okay, now I'm ready to pour in my milk mixture. The nice thing about this cake is that you don't have to remove it from the pan, so you don't have to worry about if it's flat or anything like that, because we're going to keep it there, and so that way the milk is contained, it doesn't escape, doesn't go anywhere, it stays in the pan, and it has no choice but to get absorbed by the cake. And as you can see, I make sure that I pour on the edges too to get an even absorption of the liquid. Look how it's puffing up, look how it's absorbing the milk. It's just amazing. This cake, seriously, it is so amazing. Now I'm gonna let the cake soak up all that milk, and meanwhile I'm going to make my whipped cream. So I left the cake for about 10 minutes, enough time for it to soak up all that milk, and now I'm going to cover it with some. Now you can use any whipping cream that you like. Here I'm actually using Dream Whip, but you can definitely use heavy whipping cream. You can whip some heavy whipping cream. By the way, do not attempt to put the whipping cream or the whipped cream if the cake is not completely cold, because otherwise it will just melt into the cake. That's why we let the cake cool completely. And there we go. It is just perfect. Now, traditionally, we cover this cake, or we decorate this cake with maraschino cherries or some strawberries or any berries, or actually you can even, I've seen some recipes where they use caramel or they sprinkle some cocoa powder. So it's really up to you what you want to decorate it with, except that I won't decorate it right now. I will put it in the fridge right now and leave it there overnight until it's nice and cold, and then right before serving I will decorate it with some, I haven't decided yet actually, maybe some strawberries. You can tell from the thumbnail picture. So that's it, you guys. I really recommend that you make this cake. It's absolutely delicious. It's really rich and moist and just like soaking with deliciousness. So I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe, and please do make it. I'll see you next time. Bye!